Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm sorry if I sound a little slurry. I just woke up a little bit ago. It's about 9:17 in the morning on this Thursday morning, April 20. Hold on for a sec. April 24th. Sorry. Like I said, it's early. Yeah, it's 9:17 a.m. Pacific time on this Thursday, April 24th, 2025. But the reason I'm doing this is because originally I did it last evening, early in the evening, that is, while I had the opportunity, because as I've alluded to in recent videos, a lot of you that have followed my channel for a long time know that, well, certain situations present themselves as being, the kind of things you have to work around and stuff. So, yeah, basically, I had to do it as best I could and everything, in the early evening hour while I had the chance. But had the phone ringing a couple of times, and it's like, well, what are you going to do? But anyway, with that said, and I am getting over a bit of an allergy cold or something. Basically, it's mostly allergies, because when I took the Benadryl, the extra strength one, the Benadryl extra strength, it knocks me out, basically. And when you take it during the day, it will make you a little sleepy, so you're going to have like an energy drink or coffee, some kind of caffeine on you to keep going, or at least keep your body moving around and all that. But basically, because it has a bit of anesthesia in there, the stuff that relaxes you and everything. But anyway, the reason I wanted to come on here is, in the audio video I did early last evening, or originally did, I wanted to talk about the fact that, recently, Kling AI, that is, has been advertising not just a 1.6, which is a great model when it comes to text to video, image to video, stuff like that. And it is a great model. But they were also advertising the 2.0. And of course, they were using images of Stephen Curry and LeBron James to, in various situations to advertise that, if you know what I mean. But anyway, though, recently I got my unemployment, at least 1 week's worth of unemployment, because the way that works here in California is, once you apply and you get certified, you get basically approved, that they have to hold 1 week and only give you 1 week in return. So it's a little difficult to wrap your head around that. But that's what they do, and I don't know if basically they give you your held week the following week, or they just have you wait until the 2 weeks later to recertify to get the actual 2 weeks of money and everything. But anyway, to get to the point though, when I got my unemployment check, my first one for this year, I decided basically to splurge a little bit. Yes, most of it is going to bills, so it's going to lower the small half, that first half of, but it's basically a near $600 payment, bi-weekly payment, if you will, from unemployment, from EDD. Basically, even though it's going to reduce it substantially, and I can already see that, I'm kind of just happy to have a little money on me to splurge. Not on movies and stuff. I'm going to do that in the future. In fact, my main goal on the second check, if things work out, is to get a MetaQuest. That will be the main goal, the MetaQuest 3S, which is probably the most affordable one you can get right now. But be that as it may, basically, what I did is, I was just turning off my heater there, but what I did is basically I decided to go to the various AI sites that I've been going to, like Kling, Pixverse, Vidu, Luma, HaloU, but mostly the first three that I talked about, Kling, Pixverse, and Vidu, which are very, very good. The others are good too. Luma's good. Luma's trying to get back to what it was because of its Ray 2, its Ray 2 flash, and now it's like bullet camera, like basically it goes from one end to the other, stuff like that. So, I'm trying what I can, if you will, when it comes to testing and trying out all these different various video to AI, of image to video or text to video AIs out there and stuff like that. But the ones that have primarily really caught my interest, have been Kling, Vidu, and Pixverse. The reason for that is you could combine any one of them together. Well, mostly what you could do is you could take Pixverse, they're just like Runaway. You could probably put Runaway into this category too, but Runaway is more like, okay, you put it in there, but the video you're putting in is like a reference, so it'll change it into something that you don't originally intend for it to be. But, as I was saying, basically, you take the initial three that I talked about, you combine them together. Mostly, you use Pixverse as kind of like that, I guess you could say that last added ingredient to whatever you created on Kling or whatever you created on VDU, and you can create some magic. You really can. In fact, if you've seen some recent videos I put up, you can kind of understand what I mean, because most of those mystic makeover ones, like with going with the flow and, going with the flow and, the suit up, basically, the mystic makeover ones by Mr. Internet Man. Well, most of those, a majority of those, were done with VDU. But then the ending part, where they basically become lipstick lips, or something like that, was done with the help of Pixverse. It was done with the help of Pixverse. And when you see what it results in, it is like, hey, this actually feels like a nice, neat combination. It does. Now, to get back to what I was talking about before, Kling, like I said, had been advertising the 2.0 master, or the 2.0 master, which is really good. It's really good. I mean, when you ask for something to be created, there's a good chance you're going to get what you asked for more so than you did with 1.6. And I like that. I really do. But it seems Kling might have some competition. And what I mean by competition is VIDU. And what I mean by this is that recently, not only have they announced as of this morning, because sometimes I use my phone to, have some fun with these, these sites, be creative. They said on their site that they have an app open. They and Pixverse and Kling now have apps. I think Luma has one as well. But these ones are more like, hey, we make it easier for you to get to where you want to go and create, without having to go to the, to the browser and stuff. Because when you go to the browser, I don't know why, but the cache really starts building up a lot more. So let's say you go to your system settings, you see your storage, and your storage could be like, let's say 4.0. After you use some of these AI, sites, on your browser, whether it's Google Chrome or a Samsung Internet or whatever you use, that cache will build up, and then before you know it, that 4.0 of storage could be reduced to 3.4. I know, it sounds strange, but it's the truth, and I've experienced it myself. But to get back on point, like I said, Kling 2.0 is going to have some competition because VDU basically not only has an app of their own now, apparently, but they also have a new model. See, the other models they've had before have been, in the ones. They've been like 1.0, I think 1.5, I believe. But then you have But then you had 2.0. 2.0 was their equivalent, in my opinion, as an answer to 1.6 by Kling. But now you have Q1. Q1 is a little different in a sense because it does give you what you ask for, but it does it in a way to where it makes it feel more smooth and more natural. because there's one thing I know a lot of people, that use these services might think. They might be like, well, it gave me what I wanted, but it didn't feel natural. The only way it feels natural is if I go into the high def. And it's true. Like, one of the things they offer is 720p at 4 seconds at 12 credits, or 8 seconds at 24 credits if you're doing image to video. But if you're doing text to video, it's like, it's basically like 12 credits initially, and then 36 credits if you want to go a little higher. Like in resolution and maybe links. It could be 36 credits to 72 credits, from what I understand. But be that as it may though, basically Q1, as they call it, Q1, actually gives you not only basically what you're asking for, but like I said, it makes you feel like it's more natural. Now, sometimes it doesn't totally give you what you want unless you have an image a certain way. Sometimes the image will be presented a certain way, and when you describe what you want done in that image, yeah, it'll give you part of that, situation, but then that's it. What you probably have to do, basically, is describe, okay, like, for example, you could take a character, let's say a female character, like Trouble TRO this morning uploaded via Patreon at the suggestion of Mr. Internet Man a little, I guess you could say, a little bit of video comicry, called Dark Side. Basically, it's like taking a female Spider-Man or Spider-Woman and having her transition from, the actual Spider-Man outfit to Venom, to the Venom outfit, to the symbiote, or symbiote. Symbiote outfit, I should say. Like I said, it's early, I do apologize. But anyway, he did that. It's called Dark State, or Dark Side. So, what I did is I downloaded one of the videos, and I used my video player on my phone to video capture some images. And I wanted to try them out on VDU, because VDU doesn't let you do video to video, make it like extension, like what Pixverse does. And again, as I mentioned earlier, that's where Pixverse comes in as sort of like that last ingredient, you need when either you're done using Kling for what you need initially, or you're done using VDU for what you need initially. Basically, Pixverse is right there to help you finish the job, because they have the extension part like Runaway, but unlike Runaway, they don't change the color of the image or something like that. Instead, they give you exactly what you're asking for. They keep the image as is. But like I said though, to get back to the point, the Q1. Not Q1, but to get back to the point, like I said, Trouble TRO puts this out there. So like I said, I downloaded one of the videos, video captured, photo stealed, basically, kind of video captured photo, whatever, screenshot, 2 images out of this one video, and I went to VDU. Because again, VDU doesn't have that option just yet, but I think that's going to be the next thing they do, is to put that option in. But anyway, I put in the images individually, described what I wanted, and with 2.0, whether it's in the 720 8 seconds, or it's just automatic 4 seconds, automatic speed, the default settings, it kind of gave me what I wanted. And even when I used the movement adjustment from auto to medium and then large, it gave me what I wanted, in a sense, and it was actually pretty cool. But when I tried it out with Q1, it kind of gave me what I was wanting, but it showed the character just going down. Like, yeah, they're melting, but you don't see them melting into a puddle on the ground. You just see them going down. So, as I was trying to say, I think what you need to do is you need to have a description in there to where she melts down, and then, like in a parentheses, state that, okay, we look down, or we follow her down as she melts, or something like that, or the camera follows her down as she's melting. So, whatever the case may be, That's basically what Q1 is. Q1 will give you what you ask for, like I said, make you feel like it's naturally meant to be there. But sometimes, based on the image, you have to basically be more descriptive. You basically be like, say, hey, camera follows her down as she melts, and then you see the result of her being a puddle, or whatever the case may be. For example, again, going back to my video player on my phone. I went to a website suggested by Reddit, because I was Googling this on, this on Google, I should say, searching this on Google. And somebody came up with a very non-ad friendly, non-pop-up ad friendly, YouTube to MP4, YouTube to MP3 website. And what they do, as soon as you put the link in and you choose, like, let's say what you want, the format to be, MP4, MP3, and then, what you want out of it, like, resolution-wise, MP4, 720, 360, or MP3, 128, 260, whatever. Basically what it'll do is it'll start converting, and after it's converted, I should say, what it does is it automatically downloads your file, or downloads what you want to your phone. And I think that's pretty cool. They also do it with PCs, don't worry, and laptops, don't worry. But I'm more protective with when it comes to my laptop and everything, so I just go with the phone and everything just in case, if you understand what I'm saying. But anyway, to get back to the point here, what I did is I downloaded the intro to the King Features Syndicate adaptation of Crazy Cat, which was part of the Beetle Bailey and Friends show back in the 60s and 70s. And I downloaded that intro, went to my video player, kind of went to the ending after Crazy gets knocked in the head with a brick by Ignac, and she falls to the ground, and then she says her line, she sighs and then says her line, says little angel, and you see the hearts appear above her on the screen before they transition into the title card of the cartoon. But so what I did is I basically captured that scene before the titles came on and everything, right? So I did that, I screenshotted it, if you will. Then I went to Vidu, and then I typed in, okay, she melts into a puddle of goo, seductively melts into a puddle of goo on the ground. And through the auto default settings, 4 seconds, auto speed, auto movement and everything, it gave me what I was asking for. It had her melt into a blue puddle. Then I said, okay, let's go medium, movement-wise. And it gave me, another good result. And then I said, okay, let's go large. And it gave me another good result. But then I decided, okay, I'm going to go Q1, see what happens. And surprisingly, it gave me a good result there as well. So again, when you use Q1, it all depends on the image and how descriptive you are with what you want to have seen in the video. The same with text to video. Text to video, though, is more like, yeah, we could do this for you, and we won't have an issue. They won't have an issue doing it for you, so I like that. But here's what's interesting, though, as I mentioned earlier about, Kling having some competition, to the 2.0 master. Basically, as I mentioned earlier, and I've mentioned on numerous times before, when you use VIDU, when you use them, basically, initially, like I said, default-wise, all you do is pay 4 credits. Let's say you have 24,000 credits, whether you bought those or it's part of your subscription plan or whatever. But let's say you have those. Basically, long story short, 4 credits gives you plenty of opportunities to get what you want. And if you want to go a little higher, you can. It all depends on how many credits you have. So let's say you want to go to the 12 range. You want to stay 4 seconds, or you want to go 8 seconds. You want to stay 4 seconds, but you want 720p HD or 720p HD. So you do that, you go to 12 credits. And I think with 1080p you go to like 36 maybe. I'm not really sure. Have to check that out to see. But then if you go 8 seconds, let's say you want 4 more seconds to your video, you want to go the full 8 seconds, but you want to stay with auto and everything and auto movement. Well, not auto movement, what I'm saying, but yeah, no, what I'm saying, like I said, hold on to a second, guys. Almost got tongue-tied there. But like I said, let's say you want to increase your time to 8 seconds, then that automatically puts you to 720. You'll stay in auto movement, but you'll go from, let's say, 4 seconds or 12 seconds, depending on, like I said, what your choice is. You'll go from that to 24. You'll automatically go to 24. Now the movement change won't change the credit number, so it's good. You know, the usage of credits and everything. So it's a good. So that's a good thing. But basically, long story short, you want to go to the 8-second option. As I've mentioned before, it will basically put you to 24 and maybe even higher if you go 1080p. Because again, 8 seconds is automatically 720p. And then, let's say on text to video, or whatever the case may be, you know, the 1080p is a little higher. It's about 36 and all that, and then 72 when you do text to video. I know it sounds a little convoluting. I do apologize. But the truth is, it's all up to you and how many credits you're willing to use, and you're willing to use once in a while and everything. But getting back to what I was saying. Q1, though, Q1 is not only something that Kling has to look out for, you know, when it comes to the 2.0 master, but there's a bigger difference as well. Now, I mentioned credits, right? Now, I mentioned, and I hate doing this again, but I mentioned, default-wise, when you start with VDU, you have 4 credits. Movement doesn't change that. But if you want to go to 720p, you know, and this is image to video, basically you'll go to 12 credits, and I think if you go to 1080p, you might go to 36 credits. Again, I gotta double check. You know, 8 seconds will automatically put you on 720p, and it will give you 24 credits to spend. I'll tell you you gotta spend 24 credits to get what you want, which, you know, if you got the credits, is pretty cool. But like I said, default-wise, it will start you image to video on 4 credits, and you know, default-wise text to video on 12 credits, because the difference there is you're not using an image to make real come to life, if you will. Instead, you're having VDU, the AI, create what you're describing. So 12 credits, 36 credits, 72 credits, that's understandable on text to video. But image to video, like I said, is understandable where it's at, because it's just, you know, bringing certain images, you know, to life in a way that you're describing or you want to see happen based on your prompt description. But again, going back to what I was saying, basically, when I said Kling 2.0 Master is going to have competition, not just with, you know, the accuracy, the quality accuracy that VDU is giving similar to theirs, but they're also going to have competition when it comes to the affordability credit-wise. And why do I say that? Well, with Kling 0.0, you know, their I guess you could say expensive credits that you have to use is high. It really is. Now, when they did 1.6 and 1.5 and even 1.0, the highest they would go if you went professional was 70. And that's all based on, you know, whether or not you want to go 10 seconds or you want to keep it at 5. Because to keep it at 5, professional-wise, it's only 35 credits. But you want to go higher in everything, it's going to cost you basically at most 70 credits. And like I said, that's 1.0, 1.5, and 1.6. But 2.0 Master, whole different story. Because basically, what they will cost you is 100 credits for a 5-second clip. Yeah, 100 credits for one 5-second video, whether it's image to video or text to video, it will cost you 100 credits. And if you want to go 5 seconds more, it'll cost you 200 credits. That is insane, which means basically you would have to get either the 660 credits if you have, let's say, 200 credits left, or, you know, 300 credits left. You will have to go the 660 credit range to make sure you have enough, or have a subscription plan that ensures you'll be okay for a bit. Now, with that said, the reason I bring this up is because VDU, like I said with Q1, is kind of their answer to 2.0 of Kling. And why is it, their answer? Well, not only, like I said, is it more, more, I guess you could say, visually quality, just, basically more accurate in what it gives you based on your prompt. But when I say they have competition credit-wise, I mean it. Because like I said, Kling, with 5 seconds or 10 seconds on master, has you spend 100 credits or 200 credits. But with VIDU, this allows you on Q1, on the Q1 model, which is the answer to Kling 2.0, this allows you to spend only a fraction, a very big fraction of the Kling cost for 2.0. Yeah, only a very big fraction, very big reduction. And you might ask, well, what do you mean? Well, I'll put it this way. Basically, what you would spend on 1.6, 1.5, and 1.0 professionally, for 5 seconds on Kling, which is 35 credits on the professional model, well, all you have to do is spend only 5 credits less than that with VDU's Q1. And you get basically the same results that Kling 2.0 gives you, or close to it. That's right. That's right. Basically, all you do is spend 30 credits for 5 seconds at 1080p on Q1. And true, it's not going to give you exactly what you want unless you're more descriptive, but it comes close. Closer than I think anybody can imagine. And this is why I say Kling has some competition. Not just from Luma and the Ray 2 and the Ray 2 flash and the bullet camera thing and all that. Not just from Pixverse and what they're going to be doing, from VO2, from Google and all that. Or anybody else. It's not just competition from them, it's competition from those they underestimate. And Q1 is probably the best model that VDU or any AI service has done to be on almost the same level as 2.0. And I like it. I really do. I really do like it. Now, here's the thing. The one thing that makes them even, as of right now, is Kling 2.0 doesn't have extension. They were the same way for a while when it came to 1.5 and 1.6. And the reason for it is because they still have to develop and test, that ability. They have to develop and test that ability for it to continue an image. But eventually they're going to get to that. They're going to get to that point to where basically they will allow you to essentially continue something, in the 2.0 master quality. To kind of be closer than ever to what you want. But as they do that, services like, VDU, Luma, Halo U, and all of them are going to be picking up the slack as well to stay competitive. And VDU right now feels like they are the closest, and Pixverse is getting there as well. Luma, like I said before in various other videos, is very close as well. There's no doubt. But when I look at Luma, they're more for like developing, short movies, short films. Same with Kling. Short films and all that. And that's understandable. I understand that's their purpose. But if you want to have a little fun, just as someone that likes to do it as a hobby or on the side, just, to clear your mind and everything, all that, then, basically, sites like VDU and Pixverse are absolutely perfect for you. Halo U is good for you. They're all accurate in what they present, what they bring to the table. So I appreciate that, I really do. But yeah, affordability wise, when it comes to, using credits, depending on, like I said, your service, your subscription plan, or what you paid, non-subscription, basically, affordability wise, credit wise, VDU right now is probably the best option. They are. Because even Luma costs a little bit even through their subscription. Because when I use them at times, it will cost about $8, and I think it's when you use 2.0 or even 1.6, they will basically take, excuse me, sorry about that. But like I said, they will take initially about 800 credits for you to spend. So affordability wise, I think honestly this is probably the best option, VDU. Now you might say, well, Pixverse charges 30 credits, and 60 credits as well, depending on whether or not you're using standard motion, smooth motion, which is professional, or whatever the case may be. That's true, they do. They do charge 30 credits overall, which again, to me, is why I believe VDU is going to be one of those, I think I've mentioned this before, it's going to be one of those AI sites, AI, video AI sites, image to video, text to video, and all that. I've got a feeling that once they get everything in order, they add the extension for, for videos you make on there or other videos you made elsewhere and everything. Once they add the extension part, and maybe make it unlimited, which I think they should. Once they add that, all bets are off. All bets are off. Now, the only issue people might have is when you try to buy, credits or even a subscription. Sorry about that. Like I said, I was getting over a cough and everything, getting over an allergy cough. But like I said, I believe when VDU takes that next step and adds the extension option for videos you make on there or videos you've made elsewhere, and everything, and maybe even make the extension unlimited like what Kling and Luma does, all bets are off. All bets are off. Because the one thing that's going to make them, I guess you could say, the choice of a lot of people is the fact that it's affordable. It's affordable all the way around. Not once do they ever cross over the 100 threshold yet. They have not once done that yet. And if they do, I'm sure they're going to have a justified reason. They're going to have a justified reason to be like, okay, we're going to go with this 100, then we need to have a model that's going to warrant people spending 100 credits or more. So when that time comes, and it probably will, yeah, people might have a hard choice to make, but honestly, I truly believe in my heart right now, VDU, once they add the extension, once they add that extending and all that for existing videos you've made on there or other videos from other sites to where you can add on whatever you want, I guarantee, and if they keep things affordable, like I say all right now, all bets are off. They will be the #1 AI video site around. And they're going to cause Kling to play catch up. They're going to cause Luma and Halo U and Pika and Pixverse and all of them to play catch up. And even Google's VO2 is going to be playing catch up because of the fact that VDU is doing things that they know is the right thing to do. They're giving people the opportunity to be creative the way they want to be creative, and they're doing it at an affordable cost. And they do seem like to me, like the kind of people that will let you know when something goes high in price. They will. Now, one of the things that is a bit of a disadvantage, but it looks like they've worked on this, because yesterday I was getting some more credits over, throughout the day, small credits and all that. And what happened is that usually in the past, my bank would be suspicious about, the activity. I would get a text asking me to confirm yes, whether or not whether or not I recognize this purchase. and I would press yes, because of course I don't want my card to be, basically non-usable anymore, because if you press no, that's like, okay, got to get a new card, whatever. But anyway, I would press yes, because I do recognize it, and it's non-malicious. And lately, as of yesterday, I should say, basically, I haven't had an issue with that. They've never once popped it up. And I'm thinking it's because of the fact that not only do they have an app now in the Google and Apple stores, but also they've pretty much, I think, solidified, if not confirmed, with the United States and other countries, that they are legit. Because I'm sure I'm not the only one that's dealt with this. The only thing that, Pixverse will still do, and I think others will still do, is they'll, send you a code to confirm, that it's you, to confirm that, hey, I'm the real deal and everything, so yes, go ahead and let me spend my money to get these credits. So yeah, basically, VENMO has kind of, I guess, worked on that. Not saying it's totally fine and all that. I'm sure others that want to get credits from VENMO still have an issue where they have to confirm, yes, I want to purchase, because yes, it's legit. I'm sure people still have that issue, But it looks like they are cleaning things up. They're getting things in order, now that they have the Q1 and all that. Because if you're going to be competitive, if you're going to be competitive with the likes of Kling and try to surpass them, then you have to not only legitimize yourself, but you have to but you also have to be authentic. You have to basically let people know, hey, we are for real. We are not scamming people. We are a true business. And by getting an app, I think on Google and on the Google stores and on the Google Play Store and the Apple stores, I think really helps them to their benefit. Because once you do that, that means that nobody has to worry about an issue of, oh, do we have to confirm, we want to purchase and all that, via text from the bank because it's suspicious activity. Now you just can do it and it'll be fine, because again, I think getting an app solidifies the fact that, hey, they're good to go. They're good to go. Not all apps are like that, but still, that to me is a good step in the direction. But anyway, though, guys, I wanted to come on here. I know it took a while and everything to talk about this. Like I said, I woke up a little while ago getting over an allergy cough and everything, as you could tell. But I wanted to come on here, talk about this, and let you know that basically this is something that you should look into. You should look into if you haven't already. But let me know what your thoughts are, though, guys. What are your thoughts on what I've had to say here? I know it went long. I do apologize. But let me know what your thoughts are overall. Which one have you used most of, between any of them, like Kling or VENMO or Pixverse or whatever? Let me know which one you use the most. And affordability-wise, like from a credits perspective, which one would you go with to, on this new echelon models that they're offering? Would you go with VENMO at 30 credits, or would you go with Kling at 100 credits? Let me know. Love to hear your thoughts and everything. Love to hear your thoughts. But until next time, guys, that's all I'm going to say. You know what to do. Ring the bell for notifications. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Share the video if you like. Also, click on the links in the description to find my content outside of YouTube. Also, check out the Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later. But for right now, give me your thoughts.